Cheers. Mm-mm. That is a tasty beverage. Yeah, that's that gourmet shit.
Hello everybody, welcome to HopTopics. This is where we talk about beer and movies.
Yeah.
Doing another throwback video this time. It's going to be Pulp Fiction. And the beer we're drinking today is...
Yeah, Espresso Totalitarian Imperial Russian Stout. If anybody knows anything about Pulp Fiction, they know that gourmet coffee is, it's not integral to the plot, but it's a damn funny scene, so...
They also drink a lot of coffee.
They do drink a lot of coffee in
that. There's a lot of coffee drinking.
Yeah. But, nothing wrong with it.
No, you like coffee? Drink coffee. Fine.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, really, we talk about the beer first? Or
Yeah, I think so.
Talk about the movie first?
Let's talk about the beer first.
Well, like we said, it's a Russian Imperial Stout made with espresso. 10.6% alcohol, so it's a heavy hitter. And brewed by Stone, which we have talked about before a couple of times, actually. We like Stone beer.
They make good beers.
They make good beer. They make a lot of variety.
They make good, strong beers.
Yeah.
So, we're a big fan of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's either big, strong, hoppy beers or big, strong stouts.
Yeah, and I do love a good stout. And this is delicious.
This is delicious.
It's very smooth.
That gourmet shit.
That's right. Freeze-dried taster's choice.
Yeah, but you spring this gourmet shit.
You definitely get the espresso taste when you taste it. It's very nice and smooth. It's got a very velvety feel to it. It's not like it's very smooth. It's an easy drinking beer that'll kick you right in the balls.
Oh yeah, like if you're at all like us and you're used to stouts, this one's gonna creep up on you because it's pretty damn easy to drink.
Oh yeah,
it's got some bitterness to it. The espresso and being an imperial stout is already if you're not used to this is definitely gonna be a slow sipper.
Mm-hmm.
But us, we had to make sure that we only brought in 2 with us because we might have
probably would have drank
like 3 apiece, and then we'd have been feeling it at the end of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not necessarily drunk, but we would have been feeling it for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but love this beer.
Mm-hmm.
I
hadn't tried this one before. It's really good though.
I've had it in the bombers, the big bottles.
Nice. I'm gonna keep this can.
It is a cool can. I like the color scheme on it.
Yeah. Add it to my collection.
Yeah, that's a cool one. But yeah, like many stouts, don't like super chillin'. It's not like an IPA or a light beer where you want to drink them cold or they start tasting like overly skunky and weird. Stouts are actually better at either room temperature or, slightly chilled. 45, 55 degrees, which is a little bit warmer than your average refrigerator. So if you're going to do this, pop it in the freezer for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it should be perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, espresso, roasty cocoa nibs, you get that kind of stout bitterness, but it's not like a in your face bitterness. It's just like
it's more
nice.
more like black coffee bitterness.
I wouldn't say it's too much like black coffee though. I feel like if this were not espresso, if this were just straight up coffee, it would be a lot more bitter.
Yeah, true.
But espresso makes it kind of, I don't know, seems to even it out, makes it really nice.
Yeah.
But is a tasty beverage.
That is a tasty beverage.
But anyways, like we said, we're talking about Pulp Fiction today.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I've seen this movie probably at least a dozen times.
So many times.
So many times. And
It's a great
at least, and not even, just, I've seen most of it a dozen times. I've watched this movie straight through from beginning to end, a dozen times. Which is funny because, even then, we rewatched this movie.
Yep.
Just recently, a couple days ago, and we're being a little bit more, critically minded about it. Now, we're not, legit movie critics that, pinpoint every little thing, all the, cinematography and everything that goes on in the movie, but, we enjoy movies a lot. We like talking about them, and looking at this movie more objectively, man, it is, so well shot. Mm-hmm. The dialogue is amazing. Mm-hmm. The pacing's great. Even though they kind of cut it up into, weird timing, some parts of the story take place, later on, but are shown at the beginning of the movie, yep. Which is exactly how it opens up, is with Honey Bunny and Pumpkin. And
yep.
That part is later on in the actual storyline, mm-hmm. Closer towards the end.
Yeah, if you're first seeing this, you think because it immediately cuts to the intro as soon as they stand up. Mm-hmm.
It's at the beginning of the movie, it seems totally disconnected.
Yeah, exactly. You think that you're gonna be following these two characters throughout the entire movie, and then after they stand up to rob the place, it just immediately cuts to the title card and the music's playing. Which
it starts off with Masiru from what's his name? Again, famous surf rock guitar player that I should know the name of, but I don't off the top of my head for some reason. And it's gonna bother me, and then I'm gonna remember it as soon as we stop filming this freaking video. Maybe Matt can try editing a little bit more and insert name at the bottom.
I will definitely try.
Yeah. Anyways.
Possibly.
And then partway through the credits, it cuts that song, it does a record scratch, the needle being lifted off, and then goes into Jungle Boogie. And it's just a weird tone difference, which kind of is a bit of a setup for how the movie goes, is that it just you'll be following this one part, and then it'll take you out of that scene and put you in a totally different scene with different characters as the main focus. Yep. And so,
but both sequences have great dialogue leading up to pretty much anything that happens in each of the scenes. It's just everything is just well crafted, and it's the dialogue. It just carries this movie.
Yeah, the dialogue is probably the best part about this movie. The opening diner scene, they're talking about, robbing liquor stores and how they're owned by, a bunch of foreigners that, either don't speak English or Jewish families that have had the store for generations, and, you're going to get shot holding up one of those.
Yeah, they don't usually, they don't use such colorful, they use very colorful language for this dialogue back and forth.
This whole movie uses very colorful language, so we will have a little bit of a, language disclaimer for this one, because I don't think I'm going to be able to hold back saying a couple of the lines.
Yeah.
I won't be as colorful as some of the characters in this movie.
Very true. Well,
I don't need threats on my life for saying stupid things that
exactly.
I wouldn't say anyways.
That and, it's part of the movie. The movie is set in the 90s, I think, isn't it?
Well, it came out in 94.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it is set in the 90s.
I think it's or 91, 92 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But, yeah, then the next scene we get to is, a pretty famous thing where it's John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's characters, Jules and Vincent, driving along, talking about Amsterdam, talking about fast food restaurants in Europe, and the little differences,
Like quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah, you know what they call it? Quarter pounder with cheese in France?
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
They don't call it a quarter pounder.
They don't call it a quarter pound?
No.
They don't.
They got the metric system.
I don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
It's a Royale with cheese.
And then they talk about, John Travolta's character starts asking about their boss's wife, Mia, and find out that he's supposed to be taking her out to dinner at some point. And get another story about how their boss, Marcellus Wallace, threw a guy out of a window.
For touching his wife's feet.
Or so the rumors have been said. And, which we find out is totally not true. Nobody knows why the guy got thrown out of the window.
Yeah, the only people that know are Marcellus.
Marcellus and Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's just, the conversation going back and forth is so great. It's all am I saying that touching his wife's feet is as bad as eating her pussy? Well, no. But it's the same ballpark. And Samuel L. Jackson...
It's the same ballpark.
It's saying the same ballpark. It's the same freaking
It ain't the same fucking sport.
the same fucking sport.
Rubbing a woman's feet and sticking your tongue in the holies to holies are not even close to being the same.
Yeah. But, did you give a man a foot massage?
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I'm feeling kind of tired. I could use
a foot massage.
Man, fuck you.
Man, you better shut up. You're starting to really piss me off. Now, the fact that we can quote most of this movie, word for word...
Yeah, we really like this movie.
Is a testament to how much we like this movie. And I love it, when they get to the door that they're supposed to be going to, you see them pulling out guns out of the trunk and everything, they're getting ready, obviously something's going down. And then they get to the door, and he's all like, what time is it? It's 7:30 a.m.
It's 6:55.
6:55?
Yeah. Because they're not supposed to be there until 7 in the morning.
Okay.
So they're like, all right, let's hang back. And that's when John Travolta's character, Vince, explains why a foot massage does mean something, but it doesn't.
That's what's so fucking
cool about it, man. It's a sensual thing.
Yeah. And then after that conversation, they're like, I love Samuel L. Jackson's line, let's get into character. Yeah. And I go up to the door, go inside, and, we get the whole scene with Brett and Flock of Seagulls. Which we have a friend named Brett, and he hates when we quote this movie, this particular scene in the movie, and it's like, look at the big brains on Brett.
Yeah.
After he's like, you know what they call quarter pound with cheese and friends? Tell him, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. Know why they call it that?
Because of the metric system.
That's right. Because of the metric system. Yeah.
We really like this movie.
And then, so we get introduced to the briefcase, which is...
You never see what's in the briefcase.
Yeah.
All you see is a glowing light, shining on anybody's faces that looks into the...
Vincent looks into it, and he's got a shining orange light on him, which the briefcase was literally just an empty briefcase with an orange light inside of it.
Yep.
But, the theories that have been spreading for, the past 20 years have been it's Marcellus Wallace's soul it's the diamonds from Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
Because Vincent Vega is the brother of one of the characters from Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
Which was supposed to actually have a tie-in sort of thing where they're together in a movie, but that never actually happened.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other things, but those are like the two most memorable like theories that I can think of.
The guy who plays Pumpkin,
Mm-hmm.
he was Mr. Orange in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And there's a theory that he got the name Pumpkin because he's Mr. Orange.
Yeah.
In that movie. But yeah, there's like Quentin Tarantino loves using the same people.
He loves
over and over again.
Crossing his movies over.
Yeah.
You know, like later in the movie we get Bruce Willis asking for Red Apple cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a cigarette brand that's used in all of his movies. If they're smoking at all, like they're smoking Red Apples.
Yep.
Yeah, and the name's referenced a few times. Sometimes it's not referenced. Sometimes you just see the picture on the box, or you see an advertisement for it.
Yep.
You know, I think Kill Bill had advertisements for it in the movie.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. So Quentin Tarantino loves crossing over things with other movies. Tarantino himself said that it doesn't matter what's in the briefcase. Like, you can believe whatever you want to believe about what's in there. He's just all like, yeah, I had an idea for it, but, yeah, I like the theories a lot better, so, yeah, just go wild with it. Have fun, you know? Imagine what you want to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my prevailing theory is that it's the diamonds from Reservoir Dogs, you know?
I like the soul idea, because that comes into play later with when you first see Marcellus Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like that theory.
Whether they like got the soul out of the back of his head because they got the Band-Aid there.
the theory is they think scientifically that like at the base of the skull, where the Band-Aid is where the soul essentially is in the body. So that's where they think that's where they scientifically think that's where it would be.
Yeah.
And it would be right where the Band-Aid is.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So that's why
that's pretty funny. I did always wonder about the Band-Aid. I'm all like, is that just like, did Ving Rhames just cut himself shaving and he had the Band-Aid on? Quentin Tarantino was just all like, no, leave it.
Probably. I don't exactly know why Ving Rhames had a Band-Aid right there.
Yeah.
That's never explained, and I don't think anybody actually asked Ving Rhames about the Band-Aid.
Yeah. I always wondered, if I met the guy, I would have asked him, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you just like cut your head shaving or something? Like, what's up with the Band-Aid? Or did they really take out your soul?
But yeah, so like that's why I like that theory. Mm-hmm. I do like the Reservoir Dogs one too because that was also a really good movie.
That's another great movie. But yeah, so get the briefcase shot, which is only referenced a couple other times in the movie. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's only really referenced like one other time in the movie, because even the rest of their scenes are just. Like, it has nothing to do with the briefcase. The briefcase is either in the car or somewhere else the whole time, and...
Yeah, Jules is very protective over it, which is also another reason why I think it's Soul, because, you know, Jules is more religious and more theological than Vincent is, so that's why I'm leaning more towards the Soul part. Because Vincent, like, has the briefcase once in the movie.
Yeah.
Where Jules...
First gets it.
Yeah, and that's it. And then Jules has the briefcase for pretty much the rest of the time the briefcase is even seen.
Yeah.
But
anyways, briefcase. Probably one of the most minor details of this whole movie.
Serious.
And we still spent freaking, 5 minutes talking about it. Because
you don't even see what's in it.
Yeah, you don't even see what's in it.
Nothing is explained.
Nothing is explained. It's just it's just a MacGuffin, really. It's just there.
Pretty much.
It's part of the story. But then we get probably one of the most quoted parts of the movie ever, Ezekiel 25:17.
The path of the righteous man is beset
Yeah.
on all sides by the tyrannies and inequities of evil men.
Tyranny of the selfish,
and the inequities of evil men. Blessed is he who walks through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper. And I will strike.
Finder of lost children.
Truly the finder of lost children.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger
those who attempt to poison my brothers. Poison and kill my brothers.
You know my name is the Lord when I made my vengeance upon thee. And that whole thing was totally made up by Quentin Tarantino.
Yep.
And it's one of Samuel Jackson's favorite lines ever.
Yep.
He says it a couple times in the movie. Well, technically he says it twice. One of them's replayed. But it's also really funny is that Samuel Jackson loves that quote so much is that when in Captain America Winter Soldier, when Nick Fury dies, on his gravestone says Ezekiel 25:17. It's just a great nod to, his past character and how much he loves that quote.
Also another good movie.
Also, one of my favorites. One of my favorite Marvel movies. Yeah, I got a lot of favorite movies. But,
yeah, me too. It's difficult to narrow them down.
Yeah. Then he kills Brett, and then it cuts. And just like that. It's just like, moves on to a different thing.
And then you cut to, that's where you cut to Lance's house, right? No,
it cuts
it's
to
in the
Butch.
Bar scene.
It cuts to Butch and Marcellus.
Butch and Marcellus talking.
Yeah. And then we get another great just like thing, Marcellus Wallace talking to Butch. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, yeah.
And you see Samuel Jackson and John Travolta, Vincent and Jules, walk into the bar behind them, and they're wearing like weird clothes and stuff, and it's just like, really funny.
What happened to the suits?
Yeah. But basically talking about how Bruce Willis needs to take a fall in a fight, and because there's a fix-in on the fight, and then Bruce Willis takes the money, uses the money, bets on himself after the odds go through the roof against him.
Yeah, that they heard that there was a
there was a fix.
That there was a fix-in. They all bet against him.
Yeah. So we get that, and then it cuts to the night of the fight.
No, that's later.
That is later.
That's after the walk-in.
Yeah.
That's when it cuts. That's when it cuts to Vince and Mia. That's when Vince.
It's a Vincent and Mia, part of the story, but it starts with Vincent at Lance's house. Buying heroin.
He's listening to this conversation of Lance's wife, and she's talking to her friend. And she's talking about all her piercings and how everything's much better done with a needle and everything. And
then she names off all the places that she's pierced, and then includes that she has a stud in her tongue. And Vincent is like,
why would you get a stud in your tongue?
Sex thing.
Fellatio.
And then we get the whole drug deal.
Yeah, he buys heroin from Lance, which he says he doesn't have balloons. Yeah. He doesn't have balloons. Yeah. So he gets baggies. A baggie with a
baggies and some Twistix. I remember using those things when I was a kid. 90s, man.
So, yeah.
Before Ziplocs were like a
bigger thing. Yeah.
As they are. And well, as convenient as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everybody had open them baggies with, twist ties.
Irritating as hell.
Yeah, seriously. Those things would get like stripped up, and there would just be wires, and then you try to unturn them. Pain in the ass.
Which way does it go?
Yeah.
Crap!
Yeah, because
Twist
it's all
it
just
even
like
more.
thin wire after you open and close it a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was also nice to have those around the house, because when you lost a little time for the bread, like you gotta just grab Twistix.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, which that comes into like the whole like not having a balloon and instead going into a baggie instead comes into play later in the Mia and Vince story.
Yeah.
Then Vince shoots up heroin, drives his Malibu, which was actually Quentin Tarantino's Malibu during the shooting of that, and then it got stolen, and then it was returned to him 19 years later. He drives over to Mia's house, goes in, he sees a note, which basically just goes...
Go inside, make
yourself a drink, be down.
Mia's on the intercom, and it's like John Travolta plays this so well. He plays being freaking, stoned on heroin.
High off his goddamn...
High off his ass. Because he's just... and it's a meme now, the confused Vincent, just like... And he's just, like, got that, like, dead look in his eyes, and he's just, like, just kind of there, And so, they go to dinner at Jack Rabbit Slim's. Which is a 50s style, like a 50s themed diner.
Yep.
50s and 60s themed diner with, like, Nixon character and Marilyn Monroe.
And Nixon's the host. Marilyn Monroe, Mamie Van Dorn, James Dean, Buddy Holly. Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
There's a guy
Zorro
playing Elvis live,
Yeah.
An Elvis impersonator playing live for the show.
Yep.
And then we get the whole Fox Force 5 story, and throughout the whole scene, they're just kind of playing up like the sexual tension between Vincent and Mia, and like the whole conversation about uncomfortable silences.
Yeah.
When you can just shut the fuck up for a moment and share comfortable silence with each other.
Don't worry about that. We just met each other.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We just met each other. So. And yeah. Steve Buscemi is Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that for the longest time. I only found that out, like, recently.
Which is also, like, another thing about the whole, like, it could be the diamonds thing. Because he could be just, like, working a day job just to have money, but not have to sell the diamonds to, like, exist. That's why he doesn't like his job. He's not, like...
Well, that's why he's like...
He's
also
like,
totally
trying to
uninterested. He's just like... Yeah, like,
What about you, Peggy Sue?
And, like, it's totally, like, phoning it in, but it's obviously intentional phoning it in kind of thing. Like, somebody that just doesn't care about their job. They're just doing the lines and doing their job.
Yep.
To the absolute minimum of their ability.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And then we get a scene of Mia doing coke in the bathroom. She also did coke
at the house
before they left.
Which also had contained a foot scene, which in every Tarantino movie
there's
a scene with feet.
A close-up shot of feet.
Yep.
And it's just her walking barefoot across the floor, but
Yeah, she also does the one of the quintessential like foot fetish poses. Is where her the top of her foot is curved on the ground behind her while she's putting weight on the other foot.
Yeah.
It's one of the bigger foot fetish poses because you can see both feet, but you can see the bottom of like one clearly.
I don't know a lot about foot fetishes.
I like to read about fetishes. It's very interesting. And then it's like, and then she comes back, her food's ready, and that's when Vincent's like, Buddy Holly doesn't seem to be much
Doesn't
of
seem
a
like much of
waiter.
a waiter.
We're lucky we got our food at all.
Yeah. And then asked her about the whole Tony Rocky Horror thing,
Yep.
where, you know, like the only thing Antoine ever touched mine was my hand when he shook it at my wedding.
Yep.
And so, you know, it just kind of shows that, like, even gangsters just kind of gossip.
Yeah, everybody does.
Everybody does.
It happens.
It's just gossip. It's just a bunch of, you know, made-up stories or games of telephone, you know, where it's just, like, misinformation and everything.
Yep.
But, then they do the twist competition. And later in the movie, with in one of Butch's scenes, you can actually hear something that said, like, Jackrabbit Slims and Stolen Trophy.
Stolen Trophy.
And it's like, they probably didn't win.
They didn't win, but
And
they still got
they just stole the trophy from
stole the
whoever had it. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
I heard that in like a video, and then when we watched the movie again, I'm like, I listened for it.
Yeah.
And so like Butch is going alongside this alley, like near some apartments, and you can hear it on a TV in the background, or radio, you know.
Yeah.
But it could also just be an advertisement for Jackrabbit Slims. You know, they were. I've heard that theory as well. So yeah, it's cool little Easter eggs in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when they go back to the house, and
There's another uncomfortable silence.
there's another uncomfortable silence, and that's when Vincent goes to the bathroom, and he's just like, that's where all the you know, sexual tension build up.
He starts talking to himself.
He's like talking to himself.
talking.
A test
like,
of one's, you know, true self, whether or not you can maintain loyalty. And so, like, he's talking to himself so long in the bathroom, and that's what gives Mia the chance to, like, you know, she goes in his pockets because she's wearing his jacket, and finds the heroin, and since it's in a baggie, thinks it's just coke. And so she racks up a line, she does the line, and she starts ODing, like, right away.
Yep.
And so it cuts back to Vincent, you know, freaking talking to himself in the bathroom, and then he comes out, and he's all like,
You're gonna take it for the drink. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna go home, jerk off. And that's all you're gonna do.
And it's freaking hilarious because, you know, like, he spends so much time worrying about what's gonna happen that, like, the worst thing that could happen
Does happen.
like, almost happens. Like, she almost dies.
Yep.
Because he was so, you know, like, I can't fuck her, I can't fuck her, I can't fuck her, I can't
Yeah,
fuck her.
exactly.
And so, then we get Lance's house again. And he's sitting there, he's eating cereal, watching TV. And
He's eating the.
it's like a fruity...
It's the Fruit Brute. Fruit Brute.
Yeah, that's right.
He's eating Fruit Brute.
Yeah. Because, you know, that's an important detail of the movie. Gotta spend time on the Fruit Brute.
Hey, it's only like the third best one out of all of them. Count Chocula's the best, apparently. Obviously.
Whatever.
Or you like Boo Berry?
Nah, Fruit Brute was probably this one. I don't really eat those cereals, so it's just...
Count Chocula, man. All about the chocolate.
Yeah.
Little tiny chocolate marshmallow goose. So Vince calls Lance. He answers the phone.
Coming over, got this chick, she's so
She's so
damn I'm like, well, you don't bring that fucked up poop into my house.
Pooba.
Yeah.
You bite the bullet and you take her to a fucking hospital.
Yeah. And then he's like, are you calling me from a cellular phone? Because he's a drug dealer and they're talking about drug shit on the phone. He's like, obviously paranoid that his house is being tapped.
I don't know who you are. Who is this? Prank caller! Prank caller!
And then right as he hangs up the phone, tire screeching, all of a sudden somebody runs
Crashed into the front of the house.
Like one of the pillars in the front of the house.
Yep.
And, yeah. Then, like, probably one of the, like, most tense scenes, and it's so well shot because it's just like, it's going back and forth between all the characters, and there's a lot of running around, and then they're about to give the adrenaline shot, and it's just a lot of like super close-ups, and you can see just like all the stress on their face. They're sweating. They're like super nervous, except for Jodie, who's just like
super into it. Yeah, she's all like leaning, like she's leaning in. She's all excited watching this. Yeah.
Another thing is like another instance where she's like super excited and there's a needle involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when he strikes down and plunges it in, that's actually shot in reverse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he lifted.
He lifted, yeah,
and then they just
reversed it. Because if you pay attention to the background characters, like you could see him going back.
I never realized that.
Yeah, because like you can't actually stab a gigantic needle into a person. Yeah. So like it just creates more drama when like you just see it going down.
Yeah.
So he liked the way that it looked, so he just left it as it was. And then she comes out of it
immediately.
Like right away, which is, mostly accurate.
I've never seen anybody get an adrenaline shot, so
not in their heart.
Not in their heart. No, definitely not. I've never seen it happen. Period.
So you just see Mia and Vince driving back to Mia's house, and she looks like she's about like half mostly like
half dead.
Yeah, half dead, and he looks like he's about to have a heart attack.
Yeah,
because they're both pale as hell.
Yeah,
like looking like they're about to die. Mm-hmm.
Driving back, total silence, like not a single word spoken between the two of them. Yep. And then get back to the house. They talk about it, and it's like
they agree that they'll never speak of this ever again.
Yeah.
And that's when Mia tells her Fox 5 joke.
Yeah. Mama tomato, papa tomato, baby tomato. Walking down the street, baby tomato starts to lag, fall behind. Papa tomato gets real mad. Goes back and squishes baby tomato.
Tells her, ketchup.
So bad.
It's a very corny joke.
Well, yeah.
But it was for a
1990s TV show.
Exactly. So it was going to be all of them were going to be corny jokes.
Were going to be really bad.
So, but she goes inside, he blows a kiss to her, and then it cuts to
my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Yeah.
One that starts out it starts out kind of goofy because it's like this Eskimo cartoon where it's like they have the picture drawn out and then the mouth cut out and it's a live action
mouth
person
movie
doing the voice and the mouth and everything. And this is Butch when he's a kid, and we see Christopher Walken.
Oh yeah,
come into the house, and the mom's like, "Oh, Butch."
What was his name?
Captain Coons.
Captain Coons. Yeah. That's right.
And the scene starts off really kind of somber. It's talking about.
It starts really heartwarming, and because he's telling you basically his dad's story.
Yeah. What he's telling basically is the male family lineage of going to war, and if they come back or if they don't come back, and the watch that's been passed down from
World War One,
World War One, World War Two, and to Vietnam, and then we get the story.
And then as soon as he starts talking about Vietnam, it's just like an instant tone change.
Instant tone change. It goes from wide shots of him, and then going into showing Butch as a kid, and they're going back and forth, and he's talking about the horrors of the POW camp, and then there's a total tone shift, and you get a lot more
you get so many more racial slurs, and I had this uncomfortable
hunk of metal on my ass. 2 years.
He had this he hid this watch. The only place he knew that we wouldn't find it, up his ass. He hid this watch up his ass for 5 long years. And then he died of dysentery. And give me the watch. And I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal in my ass for 2 years.
2 years.
But now, son,
I give the watch
to you.
It grabs it immediately,
real quick. And that's when the older Butch wakes up right before his match starts.
Fight.
And then he goes to the alleyway, gets in the cab, and goes to a hotel.
Goes to his hotel
after finding out that
he killed the other boxer, and then we get some more great lines from Marcellus Wallace, which I can't totally quote word for word.
I want a guy in a bowl of rice to bread
and Butch goes to Indochina. I want a guy in a bowl of rice ready to pop a cap in his ass.
He doesn't say guy.
He does not say guy. But it's
I'm ready to scour the earth for this motherfucker.
Prepared to scour the earth. Yeah. And then goes back to the hotel, and his girlfriend's there, and then they do some sexy stuff. Wake up,
which they don't show, by the way.
No, they don't show.
No titties.
No tits. No nothing like that.
Like if you're paying really close attention, like after Bruce Willis is in the shower and he gets out, you see his dick.
Yeah,
and that's
very partial shaft shot.
Yeah, that's all you get. This entire movie. It's like, where are the titties? Damn it!
Yeah, seriously. But anyways,
all you see is Uma Thurman in a bra.
Yeah, which in the context of the scene is not really the.
It's not the sexiest. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, she's about to die.
Yeah. But sweat and blood and freaking foam coming out of her mouth.
Exactly. But goes back to sleep, and wakes up the next morning, and his French girlfriend's brushing her teeth. So he gets up, gets ready, and starts to get ready, and he finds out that she didn't bring his watch.
Yeah.
She didn't bring his father's watch.
Yeah. After we just got the whole backstory of the significance of the watch. And so, but just throws a huge fit. You're like, I gotta go back to the apartment. Won't the gangsters be looking for you there? Probably, but if you knew what my father went through, I can't explain it now. I can't explain it right now, but it was a lot. So he goes back to the apartment. That's when you hear the Jackrabbit Slims advertisement. He gets in there, and he goes in the apartment, and he's just like looking around, and nobody's there. And so he's just all like, alright, cool, and pops some Pop-Tarts in a toaster, and then notices that there's a gun on the counter.
Yeah, there's a SMG on the counter with a massive silencer.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully automatic weapon, massive suppressor on
Picks it up, and then there's the toilet flush.
Yeah. And then we see Vincent come out of the bathroom, and they exchange like a couple seconds of just like looking at each other, and Butch just
after the toaster.
Right as the toaster pops up. You left his Pop-Tarts there.
Come on. Oh, you cooked them? Just take them with you.
It's
a Pop-Tart, man. Just take them with
you.
Serious.
Yeah.
But, so Vincent dies. He leaves, and then he stops, and Bush stops at an intersection, and crossing the street holding donuts is Marcellus Wallace. Stops right in front of him, looks in the car.
Motherfucker.
And Bush just guns it
right into him. Goes into the intersection, gets hit by another car, flies off onto the sidewalk. He's all messed up, and you got Marcellus Wallace getting up, and the people around him like, yeah, I'll go to court for I'll give a statement. That guy was a maniac. He hit another car. I'm like, what guy? And then he looks over him, and Butch is over there and like hanging out of the car, like he's got ice for his face and stuff.
I'll be goddamn.
Pulls out a fucking Desert Eagle out of his shirt, and everybody's just like, "Oh fucking no!"
Everybody just scatters.
Yeah. Attempts to shoot Butch, hits somebody else. And then like the stumbling chase happens because they're both messed up.
Yeah.
Right? Butch has obviously hurt his leg pretty bad. He's got blood streaming down his face. And Marcellus is obviously way out of it, probably concussed and freaking like stumbling around, shooting the gun just all willy-nilly and just fucking everywhere. Yep. And then Bruce Willis makes his way into a pawn shop. Marcellus comes in after him, and he freaking hits him, decks him, takes him to the ground, hits him a few times, grabs his gun, is about to shoot his head off.
And the shopkeeper is like...
The pawn shop owner,
yeah,
takes him at gunpoint with the shotgun, and then knocks him out. And then it's them tied up with ball gags in a basement.
In the basement of the shop! And then, Zed comes down.
Zed shows up, and he's a cop.
And then we get the first appearance ever cinematography. Wait. Ever in film, first ever in film history, do we get the first shot of a gimp?
Yeah.
In a suit,
in full leather chains,
outfit.
like zipper, leash, everything. Like, it's pretty weird and.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the first time ever in cinema history that you see a gimp in full regalia.
Yeah. And I don't know how effective this gimp was supposed to be at like watching Butch when they take Marcellus back into the back room to rape him, but like as soon as Butch breaks free, it's like they're in there, they're making a bunch of noise and stuff. They're not paying attention. And then the gimp starts
even when the gimp does make noise, they don't.
It's so muffled.
Yeah,
they
like, can't hear.
There's no way you're gonna be able to hear him. And then Bush just knocks him out, and then he's hanging there off the leash. So he
probably died.
Yeah, because knocked out cold and strangled.
Yep.
And then Butch is just all like, "I'm getting out of here," but he goes up there. But then he can still hear what's going on downstairs. And he has like this moment where he's just all like, dude, I can't leave him down there.
Yeah.
Like, I was about to kill him, but that's more messed up than death. That's more fucked up than, killing somebody is raping somebody.
So he starts going around the shop. He picks up a
hammer.
And then he picks up a baseball bat.
And then
a chainsaw. And then he looks up and he pulls it down.
And probably one of the most Tarantino-esque moments ever is he looks up and he just sets the chainsaw down without even looking and goes up and it's a shot of a katana, like a samurai katana.
Yep.
And he pulls that down and takes it out of the sheath and goes downstairs, opens up the door real slow-like and freaking as soon as the guy turns around, cuts him.
Yep.
And then, so Zed all like, oh shit, and then he stabs the other guy in the pawn shop.
And then Marcellus Wallace gets up after Butch is there messing with him. And then Marcellus shoots the guy in the dick.
Yeah, shotguns his dick right off. Like, there's nothing left of manhood there. No dick, no balls, no, not even peas. It's just a bloody mess.
Gone.
And so he's just on the floor, just writhing in pain. and then Butch and Marcellus get to talking. And he's all like, so, what now? Well, I'll tell you what now.
I'm gonna
get a couple of pipe-hitting guys.
Go to work on the homes here
with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. You hear me, hillbilly boy? I ain't done with you for a damn stretch. I'm gonna get medieval on your ass. Which is another great quotable line from the movie. It's like, I'm gonna get medieval on you. It was like, you're gonna torture somebody so bad that, it's considered like the height of torture.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so like, well, what now between you and me?
Oh, there is no you and me. You've lost all your LA privileges.
Yeah. Two things. You leave town tonight. You never come back.
You stay gone, or you be gone.
Yeah. And
then he's like,
and nobody need to know about this except you and me
and the soon-to-be deceased rapist here.
Yep. And so Butch goes out, and then he sees Zed's keys. And he goes outside, and it's a freaking, it's a chopper. Takes that, freaking drives back to the hotel, gets his girlfriend. I'm like, whose motorcycle is this?
It's not a motorcycle, it's a chopper.
Whose chopper is this?
It's Zed's.
Who's Zed?
Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's
dead.
And then that's the end of
Butch's story.
Yeah. And then it goes back to
when they were in the
Jules
apartment
and Vincent
for Brett.
Yeah. And we hear the Ezekiel's
2517
Ezekiel speech again,
mm-hmm.
but this time from the perspective of somebody that was hiding in
the
bedroom or bathroom. And you see this guy, he's all freaked out, and he's got a big ass revolver.
Yeah.
A big ass revolver.
You see that size that good? It's
bigger than he was. And then as soon as they kill Brett, he pops out of the room and he's like, "Die, motherfuckers!" And he shoots.
Shoots the whole, all 6 bullets.
All 6 bullets, not really looking, and...
Also, if you see before he shoots, you can see bullet holes in the walls.
Yeah.
Already there before he comes out.
Yeah. So it's like either he shot blanks or they just forgot the bullet holes were already there. Or they had to reshoot.
But I think they had to. I think they reshot.
Yeah.
And that was the better take.
Yeah.
But it's quick enough that you don't really pay attention unless you're paying attention.
Yeah. I noticed it right away.
Oh yeah. So
I'm all like, weren't there bullet holes already there? But then they
kill the guy. Yeah, and then they bring Marvin.
Well, first Jules is just like, freaked out and sounding like, "We should be dead, my friend." So,
like, okay, like I admit it, like it was a miracle.
That's right. God came down and stopped these motherfucking bullets.
Would you rather have this theological conversation in
the car, or in a police
station?
So, like, I want you to fucking acknowledge it. Fine, it was a miracle, alright?
Can we go now?
And then, cuts to them in the car, and he's talking about how cops, and this is a totally true thing where police will get into shootouts, and 2 people will shoot at each other and not hit a damn thing.
Yep.
And it's actually a psychological thing for people that have actually never killed somebody. This is documented a lot in Vietnam, too, is where people will, like, subconsciously, intentionally miss the people that they're shooting at. And then, it's like, that way they run out of bullets and they're just all like, "Oh man, I ran out of bullets, guess I didn't kill anybody, I'm gonna go now." And so, he's talking about that, like, "God, unload, fucking point blank, doesn't hit a thing." Jules is just totally stuck on the whole miracle thing.
Yeah, he's more saying that it's more God.
Yeah.
And like God sending a message.
Yeah. God came down and stopped these motherfucking bullets.
And
then Vincent's just all like talking to Marvin, like, "Marvin, what do you think about it?" And says, I don't even have an opinion. It's like, well, you gotta have an opinion. He turns around, gun in hand, and it's like, why is your gun still in your hand?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of him talking, the gun goes off, and he shoots Marvin in the face.
Oh, man. What the hell just happened? Oh, man, I think I just shot Marvin in the face.
They go into this whole frenzy of, like, I ain't got no friends in the A1A.
Well, this ain't my fucking town, man.
And so,
Jimmy Jules ain't home. I don't know what the hell
you're
gonna do.
Because I ain't got no friends in the 818. And then it cuts to Jimmy's house, and it's Quentin Tarantino playing Jimmy, and another excuse for Tarantino to use the N-word a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know.
Can't say those words. Won't say those words.
Not gonna talk about.
But, so, like, yeah, he,
But that's where we get our gourmet shit, you know?
Gourmet shit.
So, like, he made some coffee, and, like, this is the first part of the scenes, you know, Jules taking a sip of his coffee, he's all like, damn, Jimmy, some real gourmet shit. I need that mug. There's a mug that's just Jules, and it says some real gourmet shit, and I need that mug. I don't even drink coffee, but I need that mug.
And then, we was ready for some freeze-dried Taster's Choice.
You spring this gourmet shit on us. And then he goes, and I don't need you to tell me how fucking good my coffee is. I'm the one who buys it.
When Bonnie buys it, she buys shit. I buy the real good shit. Because I want to taste it.
But you know what's on my mind right now? It ain't the coffee in my cup.
It's the dead guy that's in my garage. Did you see a sign that says dead guy storage outside my house? He doesn't say guy.
He does not say guy.
Did you see a sign that says dead guy storage in my front yard?
Yeah. Because it's not there. Because storing dead guys ain't my fucking business. And then,
he's just laying into Jules, and Vince is just standing there, just like,
yeah, Vince is just standing there
drinking his coffee.
Yep.
And
then they're in the bathroom, they're cleaning off the blood on their hands. And, you know, Jules is explaining to Vincent how delicate the situation is.
Yeah.
And then Vincent goes to dry his hands, and I'm like, man, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like,
I washed my hands. I'm drying off my hands.
I watched you get them wet.
You watched me wash them. Watched you get them wet. When I dried my hands, the fucking towel that looked like no goddamn Mexican.
I used the same damn soap you did. When I was done, the towel didn't go down no goddamn Mexican.
I don't know, maybe if I had lava, I would have been able to get this shit off. This is just hard to get off, man. You can't put me in this situation. This shit like this is gonna bring this situation to a head, man.
And then Jules talking to Marcellus. So,
you have to understand the Bonnie situation. She comes home and sees a bunch of gangsters doing a bunch of gangster shit. And
there's no lie in town. What's happening? That's what I'm just contemplating my ifs. I want to hear all my ifs.
I want you to say, chill out, Jules. I'm on the motherfucker.
Go back in there, chill the motherfuckers out,
and
wait for the cavalry, which should be arriving directly. Marcelo's telling me sending the wolf.
Oh, you sending the wolf?
Oh, you sending the wolf? Shit, man, that's all you had to say.
He doesn't say man.
He does not say man.
So yeah, Marcellus is explaining everything to the wolf. The wolf's writing notes down. Yeah. He says he'll be there in
Jules, black, Vincent, white.
and he says he'll be there in 10 minutes. And then the little dialogue.
He says it's a
20-minute drive. I'll be there in 10. And on the screen it says 9 minutes and 55 seconds later.
Yeah. Pulls up.
Assesses the situation.
Yeah.
Gets the coffee. Asks for coffee.
Yeah. And the wolf is played by Harvey Keitel, who was also in Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
Just setting up that precedent that Tarantino likes using. A lot of the same actors. He likes using his friends.
Yeah, like a lot of directors like that do.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But with the whole semi-shared universe thing, it's just kind of weird. But
yeah, exactly.
Also, kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, yeah. Then the wolf starts, giving instructions and, like going through and doing all the shit that he does. And,
it's like, a please would be nice.
Please would be nice.
Excuse me? A please would be nice.
I just don't want people barking orders at me, that's all. Actually, probably my favorite part about that beginning scene is when he's all like, Jim, smell some coffee in there. Can you mind making me a cup?
How do you take it? Lots of cream, lots of sugar.
And then when he actually gets a coffee cup and he tastes it, he like turns and then he turns back to Jim.
He acknowledges the good coffee. Yeah, and he's. I don't mean any disrespect, Mr. Wolf. I just don't like people barking orders at me and everything. It's like he's that's what he
If
says.
I'm Kurt, it's because time is of the essence.
Time is a factor. I talk fast, I think fast, I act fast.
Yeah.
Please, guys. Please, boys. Clean the fucking car.
Pretty please, with sugar on top.
Clean the fucking car.
And then it cuts to them cleaning out the Nova. And Vincent's there and he's like washing down the windows and Jules is in the back seat. And he's like, "Ah, man, this is some repugnant ass shit. I ain't never gonna forgive your ass for this."
It's like, Jules, have you ever heard the phrase, like, once somebody has admitted that they're wrong, that they're immediately forgiven?
That they're absolved of all wrongdoing? Motherfucker said that.
You fuck up with that shit. Motherfucker said that and after clean up itty bitty pieces of skull and brain
skull on the kind of your dumb ass.
I'm like, Jules, there's only so much I can take. I'm a race car right now. I'm caught in the red, and you want to catch a race car in the red? I'm liable to blow.
Oh, you're gonna blow? Well, I'm a mushroom cloud land motherfucker. I'm the guns of the Navarro. And every time my hands touch little bits of brain, I'm about to fucking blow off. Oh, what does he say? It's something about like high grade TNT and stuff like that. It's just,
matter of fact, why the hell am I back here cleaning this guy's skull? You're the one supposed to be on brain detail.
I'm clear.
We're switching.
We're switching. Yeah, and then they got the car all cleaned up. They're all ready to go. And the last thing they gotta clean up is them.
So they strip down. They put on. They get sprayed with the hose.
Get sprayed with the hose.
Wash down. It's cold. And then
they get
put on their
same
their
dorky ass clothing.
Ass clothes
that you see them in earlier in the movie, and it's just like, oh, like this scene took place before the first Butch scene.
Yep.
So it's like you have no idea where the plot is, because you obviously just watch Vincent die, and then all of a sudden it's back to
he's alive.
A scene earlier in the movie where he's still alive.
And that's when the clothes kind of give it away, like where this lines up time wise.
Yeah. They
leave, go to a junkyard. Cars crushed.
Monster Joe's truck and tow. There's supposed to be a scene where the wolf's talking to Monster Joe, but that got cut out just because of pacing and flow.
Yeah.
Let's see them. He's like, when the wolf is just like, hey, can I give you guys a ride? Like, where do you live? It's like
Inglewood,
Reseda.
I see it. A future, a cab ride. Move out of the sticks, fellas.
And then Jules is calling the cab. So I feel like getting breakfast. You want to have breakfast with me?
Yeah.
Cool. And so then they're in the diner. and they're having a conversation about, you know, like
everything that happened. Pork. Yeah, it starts with pork and like how
wants the bacon. Nah, I don't eat pork.
What, are you Jewish?
What, are you Jewish? Nah,
don't dig on swine.
Don't dig on swine, man. Pig's a filthy animal. I don't eat a filthy animal. But bacon
tastes good. Pork chops taste good. Pig's a filthy animal. Pigs live and root in shit.
Yeah.
I can't eat any animal that doesn't abide its own feces.
Its own feces, yeah. Then Vincent goes to the bathroom, and then that's when we get the opening scene.
The opening scene of the movie
is, you know, Honey Bun and Pumpkin starting to stick up the place, and then we see the scene play out, and they get to Jules, and you know, like they already showed him. He took out his wallet, but he's also got his gun at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Pumpkin, Ringo comes up to him, you know, pointing a gun in his face, and like, you know, put your wallet in there. What's in the briefcase? This is the only other time that the briefcase is actually mentioned.
Yep.
My boss's dirty laundry. Boss makes you do his dirty laundry.
So when he wants it clean.
When he wants it clean. Sounds like a shit job.
It's funny, I was just thinking the same thing.
And so, he tells him to open it. He's all like, afraid I can't do that. So I'm like, alright, well, I'm going to count 3.
I didn't hear.
Yes, you did. Sorry to burst your bubble, but this ain't the first time I've had a gun pointed on my face. And then, finally, he goes, it's like, fine, it's yours. He opens up the case, and the orange light shows on him, and, like, is that what I think it is? And, you know, everybody's over there just freaking like, what is it? And we still don't get an explanation as to what it is, like, at all. And then Jules slams down the case, grabs him, and puts a gun to his head. Pretty much just all in one move.
One move.
And Honey Buddy freaks out, points a gun at him, and then...
Tell that bitch be cool!
Tell that bitch be cool!
Bitch be cool!
Bitch be cool! Tell that bitch be cool! And, yeah, they all kind of calm down, and Ringo sits down in the seat opposite of him, and then we get the, hand me my wallet.
Hand me my wallet.
Which one is it?
That's the one that says bad motherfucker.
That's it. That's my bad motherfucker.
Which was actually Quentin Tarantino's wallet.
Yeah, that was Tarantino's wallet, too. He likes to use his own stuff in his movies.
Oh, I mean, if it fits the scene, why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, it totally does fit the scene, too.
It really does. It goes with his character so well.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But, yeah, and then he starts going into his whole, like, religious spiel. Vincent comes out, pointing the gun at Honey Bunny, and, you know...
Jules, you give that Nimrod $1,500, I'll shoot him on general principle.
No, it won't. Shut the fuck up, Vincent! And, yeah, we get the next time that the Ezekiel speech is uttered, and he's trying to, like, compare himself to different characters in the passage, and,
you're the weak, and I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
It's like, because it's such a nonsense, you know, fake Bible verse, it's like none of it makes actual sense, really, in the whole grand scheme of things. He's just like equating himself to something that just, it sounds cool, but it doesn't.
Well, that's why
really
he said. That's why he started saying. That's why
he said it was in the
That's why he
first
said like.
And then he gives it meaning.
I just thought
later
it
on.
was some cold shit, like tell him try copping his ass.
If you heard it,
that meant your ass. Yeah. So after that, he puts Jules puts his gun down. Honey Bunny and Pumpkin leave, and Vince and Jules leave the diner.
Yeah.
Which the old man, the owner of the coffee shop, in the credits is listed as coffee shop.
Yeah.
In the credits.
Yeah.
Coffee shop.
As coffee shop. Not coffee shop manager.
Nope.
Not coffee shop owner.
Coffee shop.
Yep. It's one of those little things you pick up on when you start to pay attention to credits.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Credits,
weird
Tarantino movies, he does a lot of weird shit like that. It all pays off.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the movie.
There you go. That's the movie. It's a really good movie. Like we've watched this movie many times over our lifetime, and it is
it always holds up.
It pays off every time. I mean, eventually it's gonna not really hold up because it's set in the 90s.
Yeah.
People still don't understand. Like, a lot of the kids now don't understand, like, that baggies used to come without the zip
the
lock seal. Yeah. Which they still make those bags. They still do. I know. I've seen them.
Yeah.
But, like, nobody really buys them.
Yeah. And,
I mean, unless you're poor. Then, I mean, like, it's just financially responsible at that point.
Pretty much. But yeah, I feel like a lot of it.
The movie's still gonna hold up because it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Its pacing is great. The whole story throughout is just great. I mean, like, the characters are even though they're like drug dealers or hitmen or gangsters or a boxer, like, all of their character traits are still really relatable. Like, it's gonna hold up for a really long time.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Like, yeah, this is definitely a watch.
Oh yeah,
definitely
100%.
Watch this.
100%. Anybody that ever tells me that they haven't seen Pulp Fiction, like, if they have 2 hours of free time and we're at my house, we are watching Pulp Fiction.
True.
Because that is how it has to happen.
True.
Because anybody that calls themselves my friend has to see
You need to watch this movie. I mean, like, it's worth a watch. And once you watch it, you'll see why it's worth a watch, and you'll watch it multiple times. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Each time,
if you got through this much of the movie, if you haven't seen it, then, well, spoiler alert. But that goes for any of our throwback movies.
This movie came out in '94.
Yeah. Seriously.
You should have seen this movie already.
Yeah, seriously. If you're watching this video, you definitely should have seen this movie already.
Exactly. But anyway, and that's it.
Yeah, that concludes this week's episode.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be coming at you with Joker.
No, that's the following week.
Oh, that is the following week.
Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Another throwback movie. Because, there haven't been a lot of great movies coming out in
there's nothing
theaters.
good in the movie theaters that we want to see, and, it's just...
So if we're going to see bad movies, it's going to be at least bad movies that we want to see.
Yeah, like Beer Fest.
Yeah,
but anyway...
But Beer Fest isn't
that'll
that
happen.
at all.
But that'll happen later this week.
Yep.
So...
Cheers. Here's to you.
Cheers to me.
And friends for life we shall always be.
And if by chance we disagree...
Then screw you and here's to me. I really like that beer.
It's a good beer.
Yeah.
Cheers!
See you next week.